If the computer boots up, but we watch the memory count and notice that it didn't recognize all of its memory, or if we're not able to run programs because it says we don't have enough memory and we know we have enough memory in the computer, then the first thing that we need to check is the CMOS settings. As you'll remember, CMOS is the component that will tell the computer how much memory is present, as well as what devices are present. So we may need to rerun setup and let the computer recognize that there is actually more memory present than it had realized. We also might need to run a diagnostic software to test the memory to make sure that the memory is recognized and that the memory is usable. We might want to check that the SIM and DIMM modules are all properly seated. If you decide to pull out a SIM module or a DIMM module, then we need to turn the computer off and disconnect the power before doing that. Also, make sure that you ground yourself to some other metal object so that there's no static electricity in you or your clothes before you do that. Look for any bent pins or chips that are installed the wrong way on cache memory or other types of memory. Are individual chips hotter than others? In other words, feel the chips and see whether one chip is very hot where another one is not. That could be the hotter chip could be causing a problem. Make sure the SIMs have the correct or consistent part numbers. In other words, make sure that the memory is the proper memory for the computer. If you need to check, a good source is on the internet. There are many sources with the major memory manufacturers that will allow you to check for your system board or for your computer manufacturer what type of memory you need to use for it. Another thing that we can do is replace the memory modules one at a time to find out which one is not being recognized. For example, if we have 4 32 meg memory chips in the slots and we're only registering 64 meg of memory, then 2 of those are not being registered. But what we need to find out is which 2. So we can do some experimentation. But if we're going to experiment, we need to, each time we pull memory out and put new memory in, we need to have the computer shut down and the power pulled out of the back of the computer. So these are the ways that we can check memory. We can also troubleshoot the operating system itself. And we'll look at that in the next section.